If there's a good, all-powerful creator, then why is there so much suffering in the world? It's probably one of the oldest and maybe the hardest questions humanity has ever asked. So today, we're going to dig into a specific theological answer that tries to reframe this entire problem.
So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll lay out the question itself. Then we'll look for clues in just the sheer scale of the universe. After that, we'll explore the idea of a universe with a purpose, unpack the whole paradox of free will, and finally, look at our lives as a kind of brief but meaningful test.
Okay, let's just dive right into the heart of it. For literally thousands of years, people have wrestled with this tension. How can you believe in a good creator when the world is so full of real, undeniable pain?
I mean, think about it. This is the question our source material really puts front and center. If a creator poured so much genius and beauty into everything we see, why does life so often feel like it's just one struggle after another? Hardship, loss, suffering. And believe me, this is not a new problem. This goes way, way back. The ancient book of Job is basically a deep dive into this exact issue. Even when he's facing unimaginable loss, the main character, Job, is struggling to make sense of his faith and his suffering, and he says these famous words.
So where do we even start to look for an answer? Well, the framework we're exploring today suggests the first clues aren't found in our suffering at all, but way out there, in the stars, in the sheer grandeur of creation itself.
Okay, so to build its case, the source material starts with three foundational ideas. First, that creation is just lavish. Totally extravagant. Second, that the creator has absolute sovereignty, which means nothing happens by accident. And third, that this creator is motivated by perfect love. Let's break each of those down.
So, from our tiny human perspective, the universe seems, well, wildly over-engineered. It's not just a basic habitat to keep us alive. It's bursting with this extravagant beauty and mind-boggling complexity. It's like a stage that was designed for so much more than just survival.
And to give you an idea of what we mean by extravagant, just look at the numbers. Astronomers figure there are around 200 billion galaxies in the part of the universe we can see. A number so huge it's pretty much impossible to wrap your head around.
And inside those galaxies, get this, an estimated 50 billion times trillion stars. And remember, that's just the stuff we can observe. The incredible scale of it all seems to point to a purpose that's way beyond what we can immediately see.
The second big idea is absolute sovereignty. And what this means is that nothing is random. From this point of view, every single event, whether we think it's good or we think it's bad, is within the creator's control and happens for a very specific, purposeful reason.
And the third premise is perfect love. Now, what's so powerful here is that even in the absolute depths of his despair, Job clings to this idea. He says that the same creator who gave him life also showed him kindness and watched over him. It suggests that love is the ultimate reason for everything, even when the circumstances look like the exact opposite.
Okay, so now we get to the real heart of the argument. If we accept those three ideas, a lavish creation, absolute sovereignty, and perfect love, how in the world do we square that with a world that seems so obviously, deeply imperfect?
This is the puzzle, right? If the creator is perfect, loving, and totally in control, why does the world contain so much stuff that just seems broken? Why is there disease and injustice and death? It looks like a massive contradiction.
Well, the answer this framework proposes is that maybe we're just judging perfection by the wrong standard. Think of it this way. The perfection of any design is all about how well it achieves its purpose. A Ferrari is perfectly designed for speed, but it's a terrible choice for a family camping trip. So the real question is, what is this world's purpose?
This right here is the central idea, a two-creation model. The argument is that this universe we're in now, it's not our forever home. It's more like a temporary stage. And, this is the key, it's imperfect by design. Its whole purpose is to be a kind of testing ground, to prepare us for a permanent, perfect reality to come. And that, of course, brings us straight to the paradox of free will. Because if this world really is a test, then our ability to choose is right at the center of everything. And that gift of choice, well, it's what makes both the greatest good and the most horrific evil possible.
For centuries, philosophers have laid this out as the logical problem of evil. And it's a really simple, powerful argument. Premise 1, if a perfect God existed, evil wouldn't. Premise 2, evil clearly does exist.
Conclusion: therefore, such a God must not exist. But here's where this theological framework throws a wrench in the works. It goes right after that first premise. It questions the assumption that a good creator would prevent all evil in the first place. Because what if stopping all evil meant taking away something even more valuable, like genuine free will?
So this is the absolute crux of the argument, the link between love and choice. According to this view, genuine love cannot be programmed. It can't be forced. It has to be freely chosen. And a choice isn't a real choice unless it includes the possibility of choosing the wrong thing, of choosing rebellion, selfishness, and evil. Without the potential for pain, you can't have genuine love.
So what's the supposed payoff for going through this incredibly difficult test? Well, according to the source, it does a few things. It secures our free will for good. It prepares us for an existence without any sin. It makes a new kind of freedom possible. And ultimately, it allows for an experience of unlimited love and joy in that new creation.
And that brings us to our final section, putting our own brief lives into this huge cosmic perspective. If all of this is just a temporary test, then how are we supposed to think about our time here, with all of its very real struggles?
Okay, look at this. This chart is, well, it's kind of mind-blowing. An entire human life is just 0.0000006% of cosmic history. Our whole existence, with all of its joy and all of its suffering, is an almost immeasurably tiny moment in the grand timeline.
And again, this isn't just some cold scientific calculation. This feeling of how short life is, it's an ancient one. Job himself described his life as nothing more than a breath, his days just skimming past like little paper boats. The test, while it can be intensely painful, is also mercifully brief.
So we end up back where we started, but with a totally different question. After going through this framework, does it change how we see things? From this point of view, is all the suffering we see and experience just a flaw in a broken system? Or is it a necessary, purposeful feature of a temporary stage, one designed to create something far greater and more permanent? That, in a nutshell, is the explanation our source offers.